NASCAR has made the executive decision to move the start time of the 2025 Daytona 500 up to 1:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. What's going on, guys? It's Daniel and welcome back to the video. As I just said in the center, we had some pretty massive major breaking news that was reported earlier today that I did not get to cover on the channel, but was officially confirmed earlier today or yesterday when you're watching this video that the start of the Daytona 500 for 2025 has officially been moved up an hour from 2:30 Eastern Standard Time to 1:30 Eastern Standard Time. The reason that NASCAR has made this executive decision to move the race up an hour early is because of the potential of rain. There's a lot of rain that potentially be coming in the middle of the afternoon, and historically when it comes to Florida, a lot of times in the middle to late afternoon, you get pop-up rain showers, even big rain showers that have taken effect. And in many of the recent Daytona 500s, we've seen the start time be a lot later, and we have seen rain come into effect. Now, personally, I think NASCAR is making an absolute correct decision here to move the start time up a little bit earlier. And personally, I think this is when the Daytona 500 should be starting in the first place. There is no reason why we should be starting the Daytona 500 at 3:30 Eastern Standard Time or 2:30 Eastern Standard Time. I get that they want to get those West Coast viewers. Fine, that's understandable. We want to get those West Coast viewers. I think we can get it and understand that. But the thing is, you got to focus on the weather areas. And I think, yes, and we also obviously know that the track does have lights, right? But at the same token, same time, you've got to start these races a little bit earlier and a lot more sooner. And this is going to have a pretty big impact on another thing going on as well. Donald Trump is going to be showing up at this year's Daytona 500. It's unknown if Donald Trump will arrive before the green flag or will arrive when the green flag will end up taking place. Security is going to be very tight at this year's Daytona 500. So if you're going to be showing up at the Daytona 500 tomorrow, make sure to be there in advance very, very early. That's a big warning that a lot of people have been saying because security is going to be a lot tighter. But because of the fact the Daytona 500 is moving up an hour early, the schedule has been changed a little bit for the Daytona 500. So the drivers' meeting will take place at 12:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The pit bull concert will take place a minute after that on 12:16 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Then driver intros will take place at 12:50 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Driver invocation will be at 1:32 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The anthem will be at 1:33 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so that's 12:33 Central Standard Time. The engines will fire at 1:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Anthony Mackie will give the command at that time. And 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time will be the green flag. I am really glad that NASCAR is making a decision to move the start time of the race up a little bit earlier because you're going to get a bigger window and a bigger opportunity to get the race in. Again, I completely understand why NASCAR wanted to go after those West Coast viewers. And I am also a little bit surprised to see that they are doing this now, but at the same token, same time, it just shows that NASCAR is willing to be a lot more flexible when it comes to their schedule. And this is about the best thing you can do in this situation. It's really difficult to predict the weather. You can have good weather from time to time. We did have the truck race earlier tonight, and unfortunately, Park Clearman did get disqualified. He crossed the finish line first, but Corey Heim would end up being the winner because Park Clearman ended up getting disqualified. It doesn't seem like there's going to be any weather issues for tomorrow. It seems like we're going to be okay on the weather on that front. But again, the weather is always unpredictable, especially in Florida. Last year, they were going to start the race, I think, at 2:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then rain came into play, and the race got rained out till Monday late afternoon, and the ratings weren't very good. I think that NASCAR is also, we also know that Junior Motorsports is in this year's Daytona 500, so I think that NASCAR realizes that we probably should start the race a little bit earlier so that the ratings can be a little bit better because we've seen a big tanking of ratings, especially for races on Monday. I think the Daytona 500 last year got around 6 million for Monday, which isn't that bad, but we've been seeing the TV ratings come out for the duels, which are up almost 100 or 200,000 viewers compared to last year. And then, of course, you think about the fact as well that we've seen increase in qualifying for the Daytona 500. NASCAR doesn't want to lose this momentum. And while they may lose some viewers in the beginning and may lose some on the back end, I think when it comes to situations like this, you got to look out for the people that are at the track. I think NASCAR wants to do their best the way they can to avoid it. And even if they get 100 laps in, I think it's better to try to get to that halfway point instead of trying, I guess you want to go all the way, right? They want to get the whole entire race in, and they're going to have a better chance and opportunity to getting it in. Now, from what I've seen from the weather forecast, it seems like there's a very good chance and possibility that this weather will clear up altogether by the end of the day. So we still may end up having a rain delay, but if they don't get to halfway, they could have a rain delay. The race could then, of course, like I've already mentioned, get postponed to the next day on Monday. But I think NASCAR is making the right executive decision and the best decision that they can make in regards to this, because you don't want rain affecting the races. Daytona 500 is the biggest event. NASCAR's had a lot of crown jewels have had rain issues, unfortunately. We've seen it with the Coke 600 last year, where NASCAR prematurely called it because Fox really wanted to end the race, unfortunately, and Christopher Bell got the win. We've seen the Brickyard have unfortunate, unofficial calls that they've been making and bad calls in those races. So I think NASCAR really got put in a very difficult and tough position. And they can't predict the weather, right? The weather is something very, very difficult to predict. And Mother Nature is something very, very difficult to predict in a sense. But I think NASCAR is putting themselves in a much better position. And I think they're doing a much better job here to try to get the race in a little bit earlier. Again, make sure to plan to be there a little bit earlier, and make sure you change up your calendar for the day. If you thought the race is going to be starting at 2:30 Eastern Standard Time, you better be prepared for 1:30 Eastern Standard Time. And personally, I think it's the best thing they can do to get the race in as early as they can, because it's going to give more time for us people in the Central Time, a little bit more time in the day, and also the West Coast people have a little bit longer in the day as well to get stuff done. So I think this is the best thing that NASCAR can do personally. Hopefully you don't have any weather issues. There's so much hype around the Daytona 500 this year. You've got Mark Truex Jr., who made the 500 with the Tricon Garage team. You've got the Junior Motorsports car that Justin Allgaier is driving. You got Jimmy Johnson back with the Shaquille O'Neal sponsorship. You've also, of course, got Corey LaJoie, who made the race, and Elliot Castroneves, who will drive the number 91, which, of course, they got the provisional for this year. And I think NASCAR really had a difficult decision to make, but I'm glad they're deciding to go ahead and make the right decisions and get the races in the best way they can. So it's a great decision. They went ahead and did this, move the start time up a little bit earlier. Again, NASCAR, I understand, got put in a very difficult position, but it seems like they're being a lot more flexible. They did this with the Clash last year when they had the biblical floods that were going to affect Los Angeles, and it did affect Los Angeles in a big way. They moved the Clash to the prior day on Saturday, and they got the race in on Saturday. Had a pretty solid show, all things considered. Yes, the fan base wasn't there too much, but I think NASCAR had really no option and choice but to get the race in as early as they could last year, and they got it in, and everyone got out of there in time, and everyone got out of there safely as well. So I think NASCAR overall did make the right decision, in my opinion. So that is going to be it for today's breaking news video on NASCAR moving the start time up to 1:30 Eastern Standard Time. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe to the channel, notifications on, so if I win a video, it does go live on my channel. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and support me on Patreon as well. List description below that, and comment your thoughts below on today's episode. You think NASCAR made the right decision to move the start time up, the race up to 1:30 Eastern Standard Time, or not? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Later tonight on the channel, we're going to have the race review from the NASCAR Xfinity Series race at Daytona International Speedway. If any major news does break later today, we'll discuss here live on the channel. Tomorrow, we're going to have the starting lineup for the Daytona 500 dropping in the morning, and we are also going to have the review for the Daytona 500, hopefully not a postponed video. And Monday, we should have a NASCAR news video, and we also should have a Shane Van Gisbergen video dropping. We're going to have content on people like Kyle Busch, Kyle Larson, Chase Elliott, Carl Edwards, Kurt Busch, Haley Deegan, Shane Van Gisbergen, Connor Zillis, Chandler Smith, Park Clearman with the appealing of the disqualification, Corey Heim, Bubba Wallace, a lawsuit, a 2011 front row, Pitbull because he's left recently, Cletus McFarland, Matt Benedetto, Frankie Muniz, all that good stuff we'll be talking about on the channel in the coming days and weeks. So anyways, like I said, I want to thank you guys for watching today's episode, and I'll see you guys next time for more great, awesome NASCAR content and other motorsports content on the channel like this. Take care, everybody.